For investors, by investors. You're listening to the only show on the planet for real estate investors, wholesalers, rehabbers, landlords, private lenders, cash buyers, fix and flippers. This is Estatepreneurs.
Hey guys, welcome back. You're listening to the second part of last week's episode. Let's jump back in.
How did you figure it out then? You got burnt, you spent that 25 grand at a young age. How do you get back on there and say, yeah, I'm going to do this again? Because I know you're investing now.
Yep. So at 25, I spent 2 years paying that money back, my wife and I. When we got married, we lived a very frugal life. We saved an entire paycheck and we lived off one paycheck. We were the millionaire next door people, right? But it came out of necessity. I was working. Then I got to a point of just, we were flipping houses and we started making less money than we made the year before because the market conditions changed. So in pursuing truth, I said, there's got to be somebody who's better at this than me. There has to be. There's no way I'm the top of the, like I realized that there's no way I can be the top of anything. There's got to be somebody who knows this. So I went seeking. Then I met Chris and he's like, dude, you just don't know what you don't know. Like this cat had done like 400 real estate deals and I had done about 80 at the time. I said, dude, how the hell have you done so many more deals? And that's exactly what he told me. You don't know what you don't know. So it sparked my curiosity. And I said, are you telling me if I invest with you or, whatever, I pay you for coaching, you're going to show me what you did? He said, yeah. So it was more of a leap of faith, dude. I can't say that I had this epiphany and all of a sudden I did it. I had the epiphany while doing it, like paying the money, being scared shitless, paying the money anyways, like doing the work in faith. I ate that course in 2 months. Like I did nothing but focus on that course and I just did the work. And then I was like, wow, I didn't know any of this stuff. So I think it comes back to this. If I read books, it means I don't know everything. If I'm willing to read books to find information, then I should by default hire a mentor. And if I'm not willing to hire a mentor, then I'm not living in truth. I'm just living in drama, right? We got this thing, Nate, data, not drama.
Oh, yeah.
If I want to make $1 million, then I'm obligated to find the shortest, most efficient path to getting there. Anything else is drama. So my goal, if I want to make $50 million, I got to find the shortest possible path. And the way I do that is I ask people, how did you get there? How did you get there? And I take their advice and I pay them. So pay for time. I'm actually hoping to spend a lot more money on coaching next year. I want to drop 100 grand, 200 grand, because it'll just get me to my other goal so much quicker. Because I know there's things I don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. How do you pick the right mentor then? So you got burnt by the first ones. How now can you go confidently and drop 30, 50, 60, 100 grand and not think about it?
So, well, I do think about it. I don't want to make it seem like it's just this thing, but there's a difference between coaching companies and coaches, mentorship companies and mentors, right? I want to find a guy who's doing exactly what I want to do. The problem with that guy is he's not necessarily interested in coaching or mentoring. So it's very difficult to find somebody who's actually doing it and actually cares about you and wants to help you grow. That is a very specific personality trait of a great leader, somebody who wants to do that. So it's tough. Sometimes it's tough to find that guy. Coaching companies are there to give you information. So is Google. Google's free. They are not. They will throw somebody in the mix. But imagine like if a coaching company called me and said, hey, you want to be a coach for a company? I'd be like, no, I'm going to do what I do, which is real estate investing. I don't want to coach your students. So how do you find somebody? What I like to do is provide as much value. So when I saw Chris was willing to teach, I said, okay, what do I need to do to become your best student? Oh, dude, you're in Canada. My students are in the US. I said, okay, that doesn't matter. What do I need to do to be your absolute best student? You got to do this, this, and this. If I do that, will you give me more of your time, more of your whatever, if I become indispensable? So I felt that I could grow with him if I just did the thing I was supposed to do. Because what does a mentor want? A mentor wants the satisfaction of somebody else fulfilling the stuff that he's trying to put out there. A mentor doesn't want you to come up and give him money and then fail. That's stupid. Because then you're going to go around and trash talk the mentor. Oh, that guy sucks. And again, I'm taking full responsibility for Rich Dad. I'm not saying it's their fault at all. I'm saying it's my fault for being a 23-year-old kid who probably didn't do the work. At the same time, though, they weren't like, come on, man, you got this. You can do it. They were just like, oh, you want to pay us and then not ever show up? Sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think finding a person that has the same value system, the same moral system, and having a conversation saying, I will work my ass off. I just need some guidance and direction. I don't need babysitting. And I think you can find that mentor in any city and any place in the country, because it doesn't have to be necessarily the one real estate guy. Go to anybody doing what you want to do. Everybody's a mentor. You guys are mentors to me. You guys know a lot more about things than I know. So I just come to you and say, hey, John, could you help me out, buddy? Like, I really want to get in this podcast space. I will work my butt off. I will pay you. What can I do to just hang around you? And I think that's how I would approach if I was going to start again. Find somebody doing it and ask them for help, because people are generally good-willed, I feel, and they will help you if they feel that they'll get the satisfaction of you being successful. That's what we all want, is to invest in other people.
Yeah. And on top of that too, as soon as they see, because a lot of these guys that are great business guys, CEOs, mentors, and when you find that person, a lot of it is they want to see you implement, right? I have people come to me all the time. Hey, Nate, I want to launch a business. And, what are your thoughts? I used to always dive in, and then I realized they didn't want to launch a business. They wanted to give me their idea and run their business and pay them, and is really where a lot of people are. So the key is what separates that. And you'll find this when you guys find somebody and you go find a mentor, whether you pay them or whether there's someone local that you look up to that you want to be around, they're going to give you things to do. And as soon as you don't do those things, they're not going to be there the next time you call. And so that's what I learned now is when people come to me on stuff, I'm like, go do A, B, and C, and then let's have another conversation when those three things get done. You'll be amazed how fast you can separate yourself from that person by just doing those things they ask you to do, and come back and say, don't come back and ask a billion questions. Go figure that shit out. Come back and say, this is what I did. And you're going to instantly separate yourself from the other 100 people that came and asked them for help too, and try to be around them.
Keep asking like black holes.
Yeah. 9 out of 100 people aren't just going to do the work. Like, it's not about the information. Everybody thinks that if I have the info, I'll do the work. No, you won't. You would just do the work. If you're right now out there and you're maybe listening to the show and you're struggling, but you're putting in massive amounts of effort, you're probably ready for a mentor. If you're sitting at home though, and you're like looking at free YouTube videos and you're not doing anything because you're waiting for inspiration to come to you, or the right information or the right mentor to show up in your life, then you're not the right person who needs a mentor. You need to get this in check first. You got to develop yourself personally, know what you want. Like, I'm big on living in purpose. What are you doing this for? Why? I got a whole country of people back home who are still living an oppressive mindset. And I got family back home that I need to go back and represent and help. So for me, I have no choice but to win. Like, I'm under the belief system that if I was so fortunate and blessed to come to this country, Canada, if I don't make something massive of this opportunity, then send me back and send another one. Like, you know what I mean? So if you're in the US or Canada, for me, other than some very small circumstances, you have zero excuse for not achieving the things you want. You're just not willing to put in the action because you don't see the immediate result. People have this whole thing that they want to quantify. If I put in an hour, I get 15. That's a job. That's what they're used to quantifying. Not if I put in 50 hours and read these books, then I'm going to get this information, this knowledge, get wisdom, have discernment, and then be able to apply that to this business setting. People want to quantify it, and that's what keeps them broke. So stop trying to quantify. Stop trying to predict your ROI. Dude, I don't know the ROI on Lead Ninja. I really don't. All I know is I can invest in a group of people, motivate, inspire hundreds of people in this company, and at some point, the deal flow is going to be so massive, it's going to be incredible. But I'm going there in faith. I'm not going there in fact because I haven't done it before. So all I can do is take my own advice, find a mentor who's done it, reach out, ask for help, right? And then keep pushing every day, all day to get to that goal. But yeah, you're right, man. You're 100% right. Most people just won't do it.
Do the work.
Do the work.
Oh, shit. We lost half our audience.
What? No, I got to work. We didn't lose half our audience. This is the podcast for professional real estate investors.
Oh, he's on board.
That are already doing the work.
He is on board, this fella. You know what? I don't know if you guys, I've been listening to a lot of Bob Proctor lately. And what it reminds me of is that most of society, I call them AOPs, average ordinary people. They have this thing where I'll believe it when I see it because they need to see it with their eyes. And I think people like us, people like the real estatepreneurs are like, I will see it in my mind and then believe it when it happens because we can visualize and make things happen. And I think that's the difference between us and everyone else, the people, the movers, the shakers, the people doing things.
That's a very valid point. Like, my wife works for Quicken Loans. She's a treasury manager, and they've got these core values, these isms. And I saw their founder, Dan Gilbert, on stage, and he basically told us, you will see it when you believe it. It's exactly what he said. That is one of their core isms, right? You're going to see it once you believe it. If you don't believe that it's possible, you're never going to do the work in faith to see that end result. So yeah, Jonathan, you're 100% right, man. We live by faith as entrepreneurs. Am I right?
Yeah.
We're just moving forward and we're just making these assumptions that it's going to work out. But we have to be positive. We have to be encouraging. We got to be self-motivating, which I think we are. A large percentage of the population is not, right? They're in this whole negative. They're in a glass half empty kind of reality. We don't live there. We know that we could do anything possible if we just put enough resources, energy behind it, right? So that's why you guys are successful, is because you guys are moving in the right direction. And it becomes an exponential, a compounding result. That's what people don't get. It's like the book, The Slight Edge. You guys read that book?
Oh, yeah.
Slight Edge. Every day that you put a little bit of effort, you're going to slowly compound your return, your ROI. It's not a linear growth. It's an exponential growth. So every time I get in a room with guys like you who have so much information, knowledge, encouragement, it's like I exponentially, like I increase the slope of my growth. Every time I get another mentor, every time I start another business, the income goes up, the attitude goes up. So I'm going to get so positive. Like by the time I'm 60, I'm like, hey guys, how's it going? My voice goes up a decibel, like literally every year and a half, because I'm loving life, man. Like, so I'm motivated. I'm encouraged. I start to appreciate the finer things, and the finer things are people. Where before I was so focused trying to make money. And I think that's what it is, Jonathan, is until you make $1 million, all your problems are related to your household. They're related to your groceries, related to your, expenses, related to your overhead. That's your whole focus. Once you've removed that from the equation, you just get bored, to be honest with you. So you can focus on exciting new things, relationships, or you can go and spend your money and sit on a beach, but that gets boring too, So you've already developed yourself. I've got this saying that everybody should make $1 million. So if you're in the audience and you haven't made $1 million, you have to make $1 million. The reason is not because of what you're going to do with the cash, is because of the kind of person you have to become, the kind of person you have to develop into to achieve that goal. The discipline, the self-sacrifice, the motivation, the persistence, the compassion, all of those characteristics. Because once you have them, dude, you can't take this away. You can take the money tomorrow. I don't need the cash. I can build it faster, better, quicker, right? So I think that's what it is people are just focused on their internal problems, right? Like the most selfish thing you can do for existence is make 40 grand a year, because you're only going to feed yourself. You're going to clothe yourself, and you're just going to provide shelter for yourself and maybe your immediate family. You're not going to do amazing things for humanity. Like what Nate, when we were at that event a couple months ago, we raised $151,000 for Haiti to build almost a whole village. Who does that? People who have resources and money, and people who feel some kind of conviction in their heart to do bigger things. So my point is this: you have to make money. You will be a better person once you make money. And if you don't agree with me, that's fine. We can discuss it. But that's my honest belief system. The people who have the right intentions in their heart, you have to make $1 million. You will be a better person. I'm horrible when I'm broke. I'm the worst guy because I want to give this everybody. I want to help everybody, and I don't have the resources. It's unfulfilling. When I have money, I can donate. I can buy things for Haiti. We did a church plant mission. I donated $10,000 to help them plant the new church in Boston. Like, you can do things because you have resources. People without resources live in scarcity, right? It's simple law, right? People with resources live in what? Abundance. So my point is, live in abundance. And it's a lot easier when you have the resources to do that. Boom.
Sure.
You guys need to go.
Off the mic.
Gong. I just love this stuff, and I appreciate having this conversation with you guys. It's very raw and real. A lot of people understand this dialogue because they're not in this mindset, right?
How'd you figure that out? I think that's one of the things that separates the achievers, the real estatepreneurs from everybody else, that you realize at some point that the work is not the external problems, like you said, the water bill and the car payment and the mortgage. It's the inside work. I mean, when did you realize that, and how did you make that transition?
So I always kind of had an idea what my why was, and Mark helped me kind of pull this out, but really say, what do you really want at the end of the day? When you're 70 years old, sitting in your bed, what is it you want to have achieved in your life? And unless you are directly correlated to that path right now, you're probably not on the right path. So it was more deciding, I want to have massive impact. Ever since I was a little kid, when I was a musician, I wanted to be on stages, playing for people, getting them excited, getting them motivated. Because I'm a musician, playing piano, sing. I'm like, that's what I want to do. I said, unless I do that right now, unless I start acting that way, I'm never going to have that impact. So I think it was, for me to achieve this, I got to become the absolute best version of myself, mind, body, spirit, right? I got to be in good shape to have a lot of energy. Mentally, I got to grow every day. Spiritually, I got to be on track and always be faithful and keep my integrity. So it was when I made a conscious decision to pursue my goal versus I have this goal. What's your goal? I don't know, make a lot of money. Every broke person says that to me. It's the first question I ask people when I get them on the phone. I called the guy today. And I'm like, hey, what do you want to do? Well, I want to be financially free. Cool. Everybody and their mother wants that. How are you going to get there? Well, I don't know. I need to make this much money. Cool. How much you have to make in the next 30 days? Oh, I got to make, I don't know. Dude, you need to answer those questions for yourself. Be clear on what you want so you can be clear on the path you got to take. So I think to answer your question, Jonathan, was once I realized that the goal was so much greater than who I was, I realized I had to become so much better than who I am.
That's a good one.
And it became now a daily pursuit of being better every day. Reading, growing, getting around the right people, realizing, getting perspective on issues I didn't have perspective on before. I didn't know what it took to make $50 million. So how do I get there? Get around a guy who's made $50 million. Get around people who are doing the things I want to do. How do I get on a stage and impact people? I don't know. Get around people who are on stages. Get around people who are building stages. So that's what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to always reach. And I think Ed Milet said this thing one time at GrowthCon. He said, I want that the person that I am when I'm 50, 60, 80, 100 years old to be so much greater than the man that I am today. I can't even fathom how great that man is. So I need to almost double in personal development every year because so many people get to 17 years old and then they stay there for the rest of their life, right? Their mindset, their attitude, their approach. And I want to double my effectiveness, my compassion, my generosity, my business, my health, literally double every 12 months. So I think it's just, I know my goal is bigger than myself. I got to grow if I want to get there. I'm not a $100 million man yet. You feel me? I'm a $5 to $10 million man right now. I want to be a $50 to $100 million man. What does that man have to look like?
That's deep. That's deep. I know, Nate, we're getting too much into the inner game, but he did mention something that I think you should be talking about a little bit. He said he's got to take care of himself, take care of his fitness. We should talk about that at least a little bit.
Yeah, so hit me.
Fitness?
A little bit. Dude, fitness? Come on. You military fit? Come on.
Repping today.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. I know for me in fitness, like I'm not the fittest guy on earth by any means or anywhere near it. But for me, fitness is one of those things where it just keeps my mind right. Man, when I'm a better dad, I'm a better CEO, I'm a better just all around person when I get fitness in. And I think it's, because when I work out my body, it's also working out my mind. And when I'm actually ultra fit, I'm getting ready to start a 60-day lean and mean challenge. 60 days of lean and mean, and it's all about building mental toughness through physical fitness. And I'm just going all in because every time I ever do any type of big fitness challenge, I don't know why or what, I don't know the answer, but my relationships get better, my focus gets better, my health gets better, and my business grows massively every time I do it.
That there that you said to me, because I didn't know if you were going to say it, really just threw me for a loop, was every time I get in the best shape I can, my business does better, my life is better. You said that to me a couple months ago, right before I started 75 Hard. And I'm fuck yeah, I'm going to get fit. I'm going to get fit, baby. And I'll tell you what, I've had two of the best months that we've ever had in this business. And it's about just getting your insides right. So Ben, how do you use fitness and how do you leverage that to make you better?
I love what you guys are talking about this because this is a thing I'm passionate about. I think it comes back to integrity, right? Again, I live in truth. So if I want to be 80 years old, I got to act and I got to live in a lifestyle that's conducive to me reaching that age. If I die at 55 of heart disease, then I'm not being truthful. I'm not living a life of integrity, right? So I make a decision. I make a conscious decision. I got to live in that lifestyle. So for me, fitness, so every morning I do high intensity interval training. Every day, 25 minutes, go. Burpees, push-ups, pull-ups, weights, whatever I got to do every day, all day. It's not because I enjoy it. I actually don't like it at all. But a number of years ago, I was about 40 to almost 50 pounds heavier than what I am today.
Wow.
And I got to the point where growing up as a poor kid, when I moved out, the first thing I did was fill my fridge with milk and pop and cereal, right? And all I had was cereal for like 3 weeks straight. I'd call my little brother like, bro, I got cereal, man. I got Captain Crunch. I got chocolate Cocoa Puffs. I got every kind of cereal. I got Pop, Gatorade, Faygo, like whatever you want, I got it. Come over, right? So growing up with that, like not having that all the time, it was easy to fall into that trap. And I went for like a year and a half with not drinking water, juice and pop every day, all day. And what I realized was it's not even the energy, because I have a lot of energy to begin with, and obviously I have more now, but it's about keeping a commitment to yourself. If you can't keep a micro commitment to yourself, like I'm going to work out today, I'm going to lose a pound, I'm going to lose 2 pounds, how do you expect to keep bigger commitments to yourself? It becomes so binary in my mind. So if I work out, then I check one big commitment off the list. I'm already winning first thing in the morning. And I think that's what it is, Nate, is that you're already in a winning mindset because you're winning. It's a lot easier to win bigger when you're winning than you're not winning at all, then you try to win. I'm going to go close this huge deal, but I'm 40 pounds overweight. I had massive cheeseburgers for breakfast. Like, yeah, energy is one thing, but the other piece of it is you don't have the mental resources to do it because your capacity is clogged. So we could talk about like the physical components all day. Like when you're eating, right, and you've got food in your digestive system, all of your energy and all of your, basically everything goes to that digestive system so that it produces, it functions, and makes it work, right? But then you've got nothing left up here, right? You've got no energy stored up in your brain. So when all the oxygen goes down here and it goes out of here, that's why you're sluggish, you're slower, everything's working down here. So I try to fast every day. That's what that looks like, by the way. I try to have a couple big meals between, let's say, 12 to 5 o'clock, maybe 6 o'clock. Sometimes I cheat. And then not eat until the next morning. Your body is amazing when you do intermittent fasting and then you do high-intensity cardio the next day. It's huge. It just gives you so much energy. I can be going all day, every day. So for me, the fitness was getting myself committed and doing something because I said I would. This was the one piece that for me I struggled for a long time. 40 pounds overweight, struggled to make this work. I'm making money or whatever else. I have a good relationship with my wife, but I'm pudgy, right? I look like the Fumbo wholesaler because I couldn't even speak much, big, right? So I had to do it for my own decision making. And I think it's powerful, Nate, when you put into existence those micro commitments every day. Oh, check, done. Then I can go check off the next thing and the next thing, which is make calls or, get on the phone with my team or whatever. So for me, it's huge. I think if you're neglecting that area of your life, you're just neglecting life, period. You're not living in integrity. You're being disingenuous to your own ambitions because you're allowing yourself to stop yourself. And I don't care how I struggle with food, right? I'm a Romanian kid. We love eating pastas, food, but it doesn't matter because if you don't do it, I feel like you don't want it bad enough. You got to sacrifice some things in life to achieve what you want to achieve. That's the only way around it. We try to be too comfortable, right? I'm going to reward myself with cheeseburgers because I did a good job closing this deal. Why don't you reward yourself by just not having a cheeseburger, but just realizing you closed the deal, you did a good job. You feel me? So I think it's critical to business success is to be a person who's clean of toxins, of stuff, but to make these micro commitments and stick with them.
Oh, for sure. And I think the biggest thing in the fitness side too with that is you got all these people, you made the comment, right? They get comfortable. Everybody wants to be comfortable. Nobody wants to be challenged, right? And so part of this lean and mean thing that I'm getting ready to do, there's 6 components to it. Where I got them all written out here. So if you guys want to join in on this, let me know. So HIIT style workouts, doing a challenge once a week, right? So biggest thing is I don't think we challenge ourselves enough because it's easy to sit in the cool home when it's fucking hot outside, right? Yep. It's easy with that AC on. So what are you going to do? Well, go run I remember in high school, every Monday we'd have to go run 40-yard sprints. So over the next 8 weeks, that's one of my challenges because I don't know if it's going to, I'm going to get it done, but it's not going to be fun.
Kilometers is that? Is that like 400 kilometers?
I have no idea. I don't know that metric system.
Canadian.
A 10-mile ruck, right? A 10-mile ruck with a 20-pound sack that's a 3 hours out up and down hills, right? So it's things like this. But intermittent fasting, I do that, dude. I love it. That was a game changer for me. But more importantly, like going and learn something new that's completely out of our comfort zone is another thing I think people should always do because it keeps your mind fresh. So I'm going to go learn jujitsu, right? Go stick myself into some. And not only as men, we love men and women, but as men, I know competition was a big part of my life growing up. And as we get older, there's not as much competition. And I think as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, you're inherently competitive. But sometimes you're competing against certain things and you're competing sometimes against the perfection of Instagram stories, right? Whereas you need to go out and just get some fucking hand-to-hand combat in and do stuff like that, right? Something that's completely different from day-to-day business world of always pushing and competing in that. So anyways, there's some random thoughts for you guys.
I'm actually taking my first ever hip hop class tonight at 7:30. Same thing. I wanted to learn how to dance, right? I'm a European kid. So we don't dance, like it's not our thing. And, so tonight at 7:30, somebody at the office like, hey, you want to take a hip hop class? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to take a hip hop class. Let's go. Maybe meet a bunch of 6-year-olds, but don't matter. Like I'll be in there just doing my thing. But I think you're right, man. I think we have to, naturally, we're very competitive. We have a lot of energy to expend. And it's very rewarding, again, just like working out, to go and do something that's competitive in nature, something that allows you to kind of get your energy, get your mind flowing. Because I find this, maybe you guys noticed this too, but there's 3 types of days for me, right? I have my prep days, I have my performance days, And then I have the kind of rest or thinking days. Those are kind of my 3 things. I stole that from a book. I don't remember which one. But when I'm out and I'm doing something other than business, my mind actually works cleaner. Like I can think about all these little problems that are always on my brain, all these, because you guys know the brain never stops, right? You guys are always processing things subconsciously. And during these play days or during these exercise days, my brain is going. And then all of a sudden I start clicking things together, like boom, boom, boom. I start solving these little problems in my head. And that's how I create most of what I do, like Lead Ninja. I'm out doing things. I'm on vacation. My brain's boom, 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 boom. Because when I'm in the office, I'm focused on the tactical. I'm focused on the things that have to be done, the performance-based items, right? The prep days are getting ready for these kind of webinars and things, events. But when you're in the play mode, that's why a lot of entrepreneurs, they get a lot of slack for, all you do is sit around and smoke cigars all day. We got a buddy like that, right? But that buddy, he's doing a lot higher critical thinking during those sessions than we're doing sitting in this office, right? Because we're doing the visual thing. So my point is when you're out doing things like that, you'll notice like your brain is just punching through different things. Like, wow, this makes sense. This makes sense. So I get all my best energies riding a motorcycle, being out, working out, hanging out with my wife, being on vacation. That's when most of my best ideas come to me. So I don't know if do you guys feel the same way? Do you guys ever get that?
Yeah, I always get a lot of great ideas and start connecting the dots on stuff when I'm not actually in the trenches, you know, and in the office, you are in the trenches.
Yeah.
Very little every once in a while. I mean, I've got a couch, a chair and all that stuff and in my office. And it's amazing. Even I can somewhat get into that mode when I just go sit on the couch with a book. Right. So, yeah, I hear you. Outside of the office, for sure, man. That's when things happen. That's why I want to start doing this hand-to-hand combat and jiu-jitsu, man. Like just start learning this new skill. And I know that what will happen is to just connect to the outside and other stuff too.
Sweet. So we're coming up on an hour here, boys. We're coming up on an hour. We got to wrap this thing up because I know you guys can talk forever. I know Mr. Humble can keep going. He's got massive energy. But anything that you want to say to the real estatepreneurs in closing, any encouraging words, anything that you feel that you should have said that maybe you didn't say?
I think my big thing to leave a message with is figure out what you really want, reverse engineer that process, and get rid of the drama. The big thing for me was really focusing on the data. How do I get from point A to point B like a roadmap? And too many people, we don't map that out because we just assume for some reason it's just going to come to us magically. And so my big thing is really reverse engineer what you want. And then the other big thing is reach out to people that you normally wouldn't reach out to because you never know who's going to be willing to work with you. Like when I first met Chris, I'll leave you with a vulgar statement. Hopefully that's cool for your audience. I walked up to the guy and I was like, I need to make an impression on this guy. I said, listen, bro, I might have an average sized, but I got massive balls. Exactly what I said. Word for word. Why did I do that? Because I knew that he would take me seriously. Like this is a guy who's willing to do whatever it takes. So I think that's my thing is just reach out to people. If you get rejected, it's part of life. But wherever you're at, you can do better, you can do bigger. That's my advice. So
speaking of reaching out, people want to reach out to you, leadninja.ca or is there another place?
Yeah, leadninja.ca. Hit me up on Instagram, Ben Humble CEO, or website is humble.ceo. Love to connect with you guys. Love to help you out. If you're in Canada, you want to do deals, we've got capital. We've actually got too much capital at the moment. So let me know. I'm here for you. Capital heavy. Anything you want to say, Nate, as we wrap this up?
Do the work.
Do the work. That again? All right, great. All right, well, Real Estatepreneurs, another one is in the can. Go get to work. Quit messing around. Reach out and touch someone, not in a weird way. And we'll be back next time.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.